Begging. What is begging? What is panhandling? According to Wikipedia, begging is the practice of imploring others to grant a favor, often a gift of money, with zero expectations of free procreation. A person doing such is called a beggar or a panhandler. Beggars may operate on urban parks, transport routes, and markets. Besides money, they may ask for food, water, or other things. In this video, we will be figuring out how begging works in different areas of the world and how much does begging industry makes around the world. Let's start with North America and Europe. Begging in this part of the world is not a common occurrence. There are jobs available which throws unemployment out of the window, and systems are set up so that people may live a prosperous life. Or this is what is told on the internet. But the real question is, why is begging a thing in this part of the world? There are a few reasons which could be held accountable for begging in this part of the world. The first reason is high cost of living. The basic necessities are so expensive that people with normal wages cannot afford it. Thus, they don't meet the living standards and they have to switch to begging. High mortgage costs can also be added as one of the reasons why people switch to begging. As thunderstorms are real common in this part of the world, the houses can blow away and rebuilding them will cost a fortune, leading to bankruptcy. The second reason is debt. People start to sink in the ocean of debt and they have no way of leaving it, and they have to sell their houses and things that they own to pay back the banks. Hence, they are left with nothing and they have to switch to beg for money and food from other people. Hence, begging increases. The third reason is gambling. People go to the casinos in hope of winning a fortune, but they are not aware of the law of large numbers. Hence, they lose a ton of money to these casinos, leading to bankruptcy, and they have to switch to begging to ask for money from other people. In this part of the world, people are reluctant to give their money to the beggars. Instead, they donate it to other charities in which they feel that their money will be used for the poor who really need it. The methods that they use are a solid 3 out of 10. Like seriously, you hold up signs that people can actually ignore and walk past you. Instead, I think they should go to people and ask them money. This way they would emotionally blackmail them into giving them money, although it will cost some of their self-respect, but it's a small trade-off for a huge lump sum of money that they could make from this method. And now it's time to calculate how much these beggars make in this part of the world. Given that a beggar works 9 months straight without taking a day off, making $35 a day, making their earnings around $9,520 in those months. Given that in the next 3 months they make $75 a day, adding the factor of other events where people spare more change than usual, person makes $16,500 every year. Given that there are estimated to be 1.5 million beggars in this area, their earnings goes around $250 billion. That's a lot. The continent of Africa is also known as one of the poorest continents in the world. The economic condition of a region can also be derived from the fact that how many middle-class families are present in the specific area. The continent of Africa is mostly divided between the rich and the poor. The reasons for this economic disparity can be lack of jobs and seasonal employment. However, this wasn't the case all the time. There was once a time where the African continent was very rich, but then the Fire Nation attacked. Oh, sorry, wrong script. Oh, sorry. One of the major reasons is lack of education. People in Africa are not that well educated. Even they are not educated since their beginning years, where children learn how to speak and they develop their skills. Hence, they have less skills in their skill set, which leads for their less chances for jobs, actually good jobs for themselves, to earn good money for their families. However, the families are not earning good enough to support their children in schools, and they force their children to work as a labor to earn money for the family so that they could eat twice a day. Another reason is the disorganization of families. The family is earning under the minimum wage, which leads to less money to support the children. Hence, the parents leave the children on their own to earn money themselves for themselves. The children who have nothing in their skill set and know nothing about the world find it the only option, begging for money and food for themselves. These children are hired by begging mafias who make groups of these children and allocate them a specific location where more people are present so that they can beg money and they get a percentage share of what they beg. This also leads to terrorism as these children grow up to be bullies which are led by mafia bosses. The begging methods in this part of the world is 7 out of 10. The begging industry in this part of the world is relatively new. They surely have their stubbornness, which is highly regarded for begging, but still I feel that they need to lose a bit more of their self-esteem and a bit more of their self-awareness to earn better with begging. But they still have this feeling of shame when they beg, which is a big L in begging. So if they want to earn a bit better with begging, they have to lose that shame. And now it's time to calculate how much Africa makes out of begging. If a beggar makes $11.01 for 9 months straight without taking a day off, and $19.25 for the next 3 months, they would make in those respective months around $3,020 and $1,800. This might seem a bit low, but given that African currency is really low compared to the US dollar, it makes a bit sense. This makes these people's earning around the whole year $4,820. Given that there are 140 to 180 million beggars in Africa, their begging industry makes around $600 billion every year from begging. Now that's a lot for Africa. As we have seen from above, begging has a lot of money within, so it wouldn't be wrong saying that begging is a profession. And in Asia, begging is viewed as a profession by a lot of people. It wouldn't be wrong to call Asia the center of begging as it produced the most amount of money from begging. There are a handful of reasons why people beg in this part of the world. For example, lack of education or being unskilled, but these are a bit negligible. The first and the foremost reason is easy money. People view taking money from other people's pockets into their own as easy money. Like the person has to go through so much trouble to earn that minimum wage, and you're saying that I would take a bit from that into my own pocket. That doesn't sound fair, right? People in Asia have begged for so long that they have perfected the art of begging. The emotional blackmailing has been almost perfected. For example, people rent newborn children to use as bait and ask for money for that child's food, although it's not their child, and their parents give it for a specific percentage of the begging that the person will get of that child. That is some thinking, you know? That's giving me trauma. The emotional blackmailing goes to the extent that the people break their own limbs so that the people will feel sympathetic and give them money. Some people even fake their broken limbs. For example, a person was sitting on a stool in the middle of the road begging for money, and he was portraying that he had no legs. A person wanted to tease him. He bought a fake lizard and threw it in front of him. He stood up and started running away. Okay, off script, I'm gonna give you another story on this. Once there was a lady who was married in a really wealthy family. She was told that her husband worked in a multinational company and made millions a year. The first few months were great, nothing was off. But after a few months, the family collectively left the house without her for a few hours. One day, she went into the basement and discovered few torn clothes in the basement. That was the moment that she discovered that the family begged for money as a profession. That's gonna cause a lot of trust issues, right? Okay, back to the script. In this part of the world, people have made their own groups and allocated themselves traffic signals where they beg for money. And if an unknown person comes there and begs for money with them, they'll literally beat them out of the place and ask them to beg somewhere else. That is bullying at another level. And now it's time to calculate how much beggars make in Asia. Given that there are 220 million beggars in the continent of Asia, each beggar makes $44 every single day for the whole 9 months straight without taking a leave, and then $51 the next 3 months straight without taking a leave. His earnings in those respective months will be $12,012 and $9,620. If we evaluate all this together, a beggar makes $17,000 every single year. If we all add this together with the amount of people earning it every single year, with this slight adjustment because not everybody's making $17,000 begging, right? The begging industry overall makes around $3.76 trillion. If we still add up all of the money we calculated in this video, the total goes to $4.76 trillion, about $4.8 trillion. Now, accounting the continents or the places that we live, like South America or Australia, if we combine them together, the grand total will go up to $6 trillion every year. Now the time for the grand question. What color is your Bugatti?